So I'm scrolling threads and I come up on this post, and Chanel Coco 5 says, as a woman, don't you ever date a police officer. Now, this was less than a day ago and it has over 1,400 comments. This post definitely had them talking. Steph B says, don't date men. Problem solved. And then Mandy took exception to her saying this, saying, my dad was a police officer. What about it? Did you get cheated on? So now every single police officer is bad? All right, let's look at some of these comments. Beauty and Braun gave us a whole list. Police officers, military, active duty, and veterans, surgeons, ER doctors, lawyers, firefighters, professional athletes, that's kind of a given, bartenders, nightclub workers, musicians, rappers, DJs, influencers, truck drivers, construction foremen. That's kind of specific, the construction foremen. So the other people are perfectly fine, I guess. Bouncers, security guards, strip club owners, strip club workers, personal trainers, fitness influencers, dating coaches, self-proclaimed alpha males, YouTubers, streamers, promoters, club owners. And then Gabba says, add preachers to this list. Plain Old Mo says, was coming to say it? My ex sure would preach, then text my worship leaders and the same girls he talking to, calling me for prayer and parenting advice. Tasia says, surprisingly, firefighters are worse. They are presumed as heroes, so you never see it coming, but they have awful God complexes. Coming back to the police officer part, Indian Summer Vintage says they have high rates of DV, rape, abuse of power, and a high number of them are sociopathic. And it's like, who's going to check them? Other police officers? If they stick with their boys in blue, you will probably never get any kind of justice. Shooter Gang Chloe says, I would honestly say the percentage is half or more that shows sociopathic tendencies. And then Revolutionary King says, Mandy, this wasn't about you or your dad. Like she said, don't date a police officer. Listen up, girls. Mandy, mind your business. Not Your Standard says, Mandy, mind your business. Took me the F out. John Cole says, police officers are highly statistically likely to abuse their spouses. Also, they work for an evil organization that attracts and enables pieces of so it's not just about their personality. Their function in society is not to protect and serve the people, but to protect and serve the interest of capital. Cardio Hates Me says, stats show he probably abused your mother. She's talking to Mandy still. Cyberpunk Riot says, police officers are known to savagely beat their wives and kids. Nawa is adding more men to the list. A military man, a drug dealer, a truck driver, a bar owner, a lawyer, or a doctor, you will suffer. And so then Uche Zuma says, what's wrong with doctors? Most of them I know seem happily married. That Bayou Baby says, as a former nurse, they all have a God complex. And then a little something says, oh, very arrogant man, very. So doctors and what did they say? Firefighters have these God complexes. So I'm not saying don't date all of these people. I'm just telling y'all what these women are listing. Now, this story time is something. M. Valerie says, I dated a military man, high-ranking special forces, top-level security clearance. We had a disagreement and he started chuckling to himself. I asked, what's so funny? This man said, in a previous life, he could have made me disappear and buried my existence so deep that my parents would have had a hard time proving that I was born. To this day, I'm not sure if he was just joking, but that convo marked the end of our relationship. That is a whole hot mess. That would definitely have me rethinking, like moving, getting away, or trying to, but you never know. These people have the capacity to look you up and find out all of your secrets and all of that. So Nawa says that was no joke and he can make it happen anytime if he chose till this day. And then M. Valerie says, yeah, it was wild. That man said that and went back to sipping his coffee. It's been years, but I remember everything about that moment, including our drink orders and what we were wearing. That is scary as all get out. Nick Lingo says, I'm glad you took it seriously. Caffeine Addict is wondering, why not a truck driver? I'm genuinely curious. These men can go get themselves some ladies in every area code. Like Ludacris says, I got ladies in different area. Okay, maybe he didn't say ladies. All right. Simply Brescia says the biggest cheaters of all time, and it's usually with the person who gets paid for these acts. So, ladies of the night. In the comment section, it just seems like women are now just trying to figure out who can they date. So we got Miss Elania says, what about a man who works on the railroad? And then Calico says, my dad worked on the railroad. They had a saying, married by the milepost. And then Downtown Runaround says, my dad retired from the railroad. What does that saying mean? And then Calico says, it means the further they got out of town, the less married they were. My dad is a wonderful human, by the way. He wasn't the best husband to my mom when they were young, though. He's retired as well and recalls his regrets. All right, so we have more professions to add to the list. Party promoter, personal trainer, and correctional officer. Anne Love Chanel says, especially a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer. I can attest that there's some harlots. They definitely are some harlots. Nawa says, walking infection, hacking all his clients and business associates. This is another good one to look out for. C. Fogarty says, hear me out. IT security bro should be synonymous. Trying to Escape was a Black Mirror episode. Please be careful of men who have the ability to mass surveillance, change web search results, manipulate reality, etc. with simple Wi-Fi access. My ex has a legion of professionals helping them to exploit their skills, all to oppress and bully people from the privacy of their cubicle while pretending to do high-paying work. So I guess if it's IT security bros, that would also mean tech bros as well. So I'm just putting it out there what these women are saying. You all could go ahead and add to the list. Some of these reasonings definitely are eye-opening. I wouldn't have even thought about the whole, being able to tap into and find out all of your secrets. That makes sense from the police officer's perspective, and the God complex from, the police officers, the military men, the surgeons, all of that also makes sense as well. So join the conversation. Let me know what you think about all of this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I came across a mystery in the Two Hot Takes subreddit. She says, all of my scrunchies started going missing when I met my boyfriend. She says, about a month ago, I became official with a guy named Tim. Tim is great, really responsible, honest, has a good career, etc. So far, our relationship has been great, aside from the fact that since I met him, my scrunchies started going missing. It sounds stupid, I know, but I always stash scrunchies throughout my apartment. I use them every day and like them to be easily accessible. I have some in my bathroom, both of my bedrooms, my living room, my car, etc. I probably had 20 plus scrunchies randomly dispersed throughout. I'm down to 6, 3 of which were in my car. At first, I thought maybe I just lost 1 or 2, but before long, I noticed that entire stashes were missing. It's gotten annoying because anytime I go reach for one, it's just gone. For example, I have a drawer under my sink where I kept about 5 scrunchies. Sounds crazy, but I tend to take them, tie my hair back, do something, and take it out in a different room. This assured me that I always have one on hand in the room. I usually need them the most. I return 5 to this stash on Sundays when I clean if they got moved. The drawer now has none. The only factor in my life that has changed is my boyfriend. My dog doesn't bother them, but even if she had somehow gotten into drawers and taken to eating them, we'd probably be in pet ER right now because 14 scrunchies is quite a lot. I don't think anyone is breaking in to steal my scrunchies. I know I haven't lost this many. Is my boyfriend secretly a ferret? What could he possibly be doing with all these scrunchies? My friends are joking that he has a shrine of me in his closet. One friend thinks he's stealing them to test if I notice when things go missing and has plans to steal more, which has me sort of sketched out. He's never in my apartment alone, but he's somehow finding enough time to be alone to do this and for me not to notice. Does anyone have any ideas? I was going to confront him, but I don't want to accuse him of something so silly, but I also just don't get it. Help. All right, so this is the edit. She says, some of y'all just aren't any fun. Obviously, no one but him knows. I just wanted to preemptively prepare myself for reasonings as to why he could be doing this. Also, it's just kind of funny, so I wanted to share. I thought the way this was written would kind of show that, but some people are taking it way too seriously. He's planning on coming over tonight, so it's definitely on the agenda to inconspicuously ask him where they've gone. At this point, if he says he doesn't know, I'm just going to set up a camera because A, he's lying and needs to be called out, or B, someone unwelcomed is in my apartment stealing my stuff. Someone asked if it could be my dog, but I pulled my couch out since this has started happening, and honestly, my dog doesn't really steal things, so I'm 99.9% positive it's not her. She's an old gal and just sleeps mostly, unless there's some other creature sneaking in and stealing. It's definitely a person's doing. A lot of people have said he might be tidying them up, but this is honestly impossible because they're nowhere to be found. I have a fairly large apartment, but unless he's storing them in a vent or something, they're just straight up missing. Either way, I should have some update tonight. So now let's get to the update. Okay, here's the update. She says, y'all, he just left and I have to write this now while it's fresh in my mind. So as many of you came at me for not doing it immediately, I had a talk with him tonight. I had planned on it, but when I discovered the last batch of missing scrunchies this morning, I snapped and just wanted to get some ideas of what he could be doing with them. I didn't want to approach it via text or while either of us were working, so I figured I'd just wait till this evening to approach him. A lot of people told me that I should be able to talk to him, but it's still so new and I just didn't want to approach it at first. Most of you were wrong, but a few of you beautiful, twisted people got it right. Without further ado, allow me to provide my best recollection of the conversation. Me. I keep losing my scrunchies and it's driving me nuts. Have you seen any of them around? Him. Not really. Don't you have one on your nightstand? Me. Yeah, but I used to have a lot more and now they're missing. It's so weird. At this point, his demeanor kind of changed. To be fair, I was staring him down and he knew I knew. He just shrugged at me. The demeanor switch gave me enough of a spidey sense that I just flat out asked them why he was taking them. He initially tried to say that he didn't. Then he tried to say he was accidentally taking them and said he would put them on his wrist and forget to take them off. I pressed him, saying I never saw them on his wrist and I always kissed him goodbye so I would notice. He looked like he was about to start crying and kept saying he didn't know, which didn't make sense because he clearly did. I got frustrated and raised my voice and demanded to know, at which point he admitted he was masturbating with them. I just kind of stared at him, and for a second I was glad that I made the post because the initial shock wasn't as bad since it was brought to my attention that this is common. I had him explain, and he said that one night early on he was at my place and we made out, but I told him I didn't want to have sex. He shimmied away to the bathroom and had looked around for something to use as lube. I only had scented lotions around and he worried I'd noticed that he smelled like them. So he chose the next best thing, which I guess was my ultra plush towel scrunchie. After he defiled my poor scrunchie, he apparently panicked and rinsed it out and put it in his pocket. I guess this experience ignited something within him because he started taking them to masturbate with. When I asked him why he didn't just keep up with the same one and wash it or buy his own pack, he said that it felt better because it was mine. Cute, I guess. He told me he would never take another one and apologized profusely for being weird. He even offered to buy me new ones. While he wasn't as manipulative or scary as some people thought, I still don't love that trust has been broken so early on and that he stole from me. Regardless of reason, I asked for space and he left. So yeah, I don't really know what I plan to do from here, but now we all know apparently scrunchies of your loved ones feel really good if anyone wants to give it a shot, with permission, of course. I don't know what to say to this. I will just lead with the very first comment on this post, putting the crunchy into scrunchie, LOL. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all weigh in because I don't know. I'm literally just at a loss for words. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think because my brain blanked. And I read tons of Reddit posts and I have never considered masturbating with a scrunchie before. Like, I've never seen or heard of anything like this. So I don't really have any thoughts. So you all give me some thoughts. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share. Women are saying very similar things where it comes to living with a man, whether it be girlfriend or boyfriend relationships or marriage. This woman posted in the 2X chromosome subreddit saying, I feel trapped in my relationship because we live together. She says, hi guys. So she's 20. Oh, they're both 26. She says, I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years now. We moved in together 3 years ago when we moved cities. And as much as I hate to say it, I regret it. We have an overall good relationship, but I think living together has burnt me out. I'm constantly doing the cleaning, the washing. He's never ever cleaned the bathroom in his life. That is gross right there. I've turned into such a nagging girlfriend, and he says I'm always on his case and always getting mad. Maybe if he wasn't gross and not cleaning, she wouldn't be nagging. As we spent more years together, I fear we're growing apart a bit. He's addicted to smoking weed, which I really didn't care about when we were 22 or 23, but now I'm about to turn 27, and I'm tired of dealing with his mood swings whenever he doesn't smoke for a couple of days. It's constantly walking on eggshells. But regardless of the state of my relationship, sometimes we're great, other times we're in the pits of hell. I always have this nagging thought in the back of my mind that if we didn't live together, I'd have broken up with him ages ago, or B, we wouldn't have been burnt out from living together so soon. The honest truth is, I miss being single. I do love my boyfriend and don't know if he's the one or not, but if he is, I wish I had met him later. I kind of yearn to be on my own and have my own flat, but the thought of moving out, splitting the furniture, going back to a flat share since is so scary. I'll be 27 this year. What if I don't meet anyone in the next couple of years and I'm alone? I don't know. Any advice would really be appreciated. If anyone has ever moved out from living with someone, please let me know the process because the thought gives me major anxiety. The fact that so many women in their 20s think that they're almost old and that their time is almost up is so scary. And it goes to speak to how society has programmed us to think that our value runs out. Like literally, these men have gotten in our heads. Almost 27 is not old. And if she does find someone, yes, you can find and meet someone amazing in your 30s. It can happen. But you're not going to take this sucky dude who doesn't clean and do anything and who smokes too much. You're not going to take him and make him into some amazing boyfriend or some amazing husband. It's like his foundation would completely have to change. And if he's not up to it because he thinks that you're just nagging, what is the purpose? Midwitch 23 says, instead of having a partner, he grew into a dependent with an addiction. 27 isn't remotely old. Start putting feelers out through your work to see if anyone is interested in renting together. You shouldn't stay in a relationship just because you've spent a portion of time with them. Sunken cost fallacy keeps people trapped. Your future is waiting for you. Good luck. And then the OP says, you're right. Thank you. Compass Guy says, we need to stop getting married and living together so young. Sorry if this is unhelpful. I'm in my 50s, but I recall not having a brain to make clever decisions until 26 to 28. That's when our prefrontal cortex is finally fully developed. I cringe when I see people getting married on in their early 20s. I'm in Europe and the average age of marriage is over 30. And then the OP says, honestly, I completely agree. But we moved in together more out of necessity. We were moving cities for our jobs and didn't know anyone. So it made no sense for us to flat share separately, but I would genuinely never advise it to anyone. King of Red Lion says, girl, I could have written this back in the day. I should have broken up with him a year earlier, but I was always too scared to do it because we lived together and I had never broken up with someone before, and it's hard. This man I lived with cleaned the bathroom once a year and acted like he deserved a trophy when he did it. I had to walk on eggshells constantly. I would lie if I had an interaction with a man in real life. I would say it was a woman just to avoid him getting weird about it. Don't worry about being alone in the next couple of years. I'm 30 and being alone is the best. I will only be with someone if they are everything I want and need and more. If I don't meet that person, then I'm perfectly fine with my girlfriends and cats. Truly. If you were with the person you're meant to be with, you wouldn't be having these thoughts. It's hard to imagine another life, but you'll figure it out, I promise. Living with a partner and roommates is so much different, but it's life's experience and you'll learn so much. It's not better or worse. I've lived with roommates, a boyfriend, and by myself. And I think living with my boyfriend was the worst option of all those, honestly. LOL. Just pick your roommates wisely. I'm begging you to do what you need to do. The breakup glow up is real. You'll have deeper friendships. You'll focus on yourself more. You'll get hotter and more successful. Live your life. I finally got out of my relationship when I was 27, and my friend said I look like a new person. I started making way more money. My life blossomed. He's not worth it. Here's the OP saying, oh my God, I have the same thing when it comes to male interactions. He has a weird jealousy streak that's so annoying because I'm not jealous in the slightest, so I don't really get it. I've never broken up with someone either, and even though there's issues in our relationship, it still feels so scary to throw it all away. God, this is so hard, but thank you for sharing. And then we got Tiny Zane saying, you are so young. I'm turning 36 this year. Imagine yourself in 10 years' time at my age. Would you rather have waited those years being burnt out, doing everything, and walking on eggshells? Or would you have rather spent them living contentedly and potentially meeting someone who makes you happier? You moved in together at 23, which is very young in my opinion. I'm not surprised you feel the urge to live alone for a bit. Do you have a close friend you could share with while trying to flat a solo place? Finally, if you haven't already, have you communicated your concerns clearly to your partner? And here's the OP saying, you're totally right. Sometimes the thought of being in this for another 10 years makes me panic. He has amazing qualities, but he has a real anger issue, snaps super quickly. The thought of having kids and they all have the same tendency is what scares me. I don't have anyone I'd be able to move in with. It would have to be a flat share. To be honest, I've not properly spoken to him about my concerns. Whenever we bring up stuff in the relationship and I put my hands up as it goes both ways, it gets extremely defensive and we end up arguing. This is what frustrates me the most sometimes. He so thinks the problem is on my side. I'm always on his case, always nagging. He never does anything right. But I believe it's on his. He's on his. He's a hothead, doesn't ever clean, has double standards for him and me, and I react to his aggressiveness. We've addressed trying to be less defensive when we approach stuff, but to no avail so far. All of these things sound like a great reason to break up. This does not sound like a healthy dynamic, and she just needs to figure out how to disentangle and get away. And then at the bottom, Eucalyptus macrocarpa says, okay, so the problems you have with him are concrete behaviors. You do not clean. You have a bad temper. But the problem he has with you are just you articulating the behaviors you don't like. This is a problem. And you know what? As I read these Reddit posts, women are really, really starting to see that living with these people is a lot more stressful than the benefits that they may have thought that they would get. It just does not seem like women are getting anything out of it. So hear these conversations, hear these posts, use them as cautionary tales. Tell your daughters, tell your teens, and let them know that they really need to be forming tighter bonds with their friends and figuring out other ways to live versus thinking that they should be shacking up with a dude. And I'm not talking about shacking up in some religious issue or anything or shaming someone for living with a man. No, it just seems like they get in to an apartment with a woman, a house with a woman, and the woman is then magically transformed into his servant. Let me know what you think. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you made it this far and you're not yet following me, go ahead and smash the follow button. I was alerted to this man's name over on TikTok, where this man was saying, you become like man if you have your own money, if you can pay your own rent, if you can survive without man, your heart grows strong. So I found this man because of the women pointing out his name. His name is Prophet David Uche. Of course, he's a prophet. He is a man of God. Yes, he is. And he spews highly misogynistic stuff. And someone had asked me to find the full clip and play the full clip. I have found the full clip. So here I am playing the full clip for y'all. Enjoy. Let me know what you think.
If you're a woman that wants to marry, don't buy house when you're not married. Don't buy cars. Don't buy properties. Don't live alone, because you become like a man. In my language, I say, "Akunesio bike." Money make your heart strong. So if you are doing everything alone, living alone, you can't fit for a wife again. Now you begin to have a power torture with a man. Who do you think you are? Is it rent I can pay? Is it house I have bought? Even if I leave you, I can still live properly. Do you notice that the Western women and part of the South, those that are working, they are very arrogant because many of them are living alone? Stay with your parents. Is a man that should come and carry you. Or live with your sister. Live with family. When you come into a man's house, that's when you should start doing things. Many of your children now, they want to go and live freely now. They want to leave the house. They are tired. They are 19, they are 17. They are thinking you are caging them. Oh, them. If you go to the hostels now, all these schools is now a prostitute quarter. All those students that say they want to stay in school, 80% are prostitute now. Old men used to come and carry them. Some of them don't go to the class anymore. What your 90 years girl have done, you'll be shocked. They know where you don't know. You that is mother, man that you'll be scared to sleep with, your daughter has slept with that man. It's even better now for your children to be going to school from your house. Do you know how cheap the prostitution is? Even 10 rand can carry your daughter. You are thinking she's a medical doctor. I found that I'm a prophet at 19. And that was when the devil was saying, get out of the house. If I would have left the house, I won't find myself today. These are dangerous times. From that age, it will control your next 20 years till you are 40. That's a kairos time.